So I had a flight video planned for you guys today, but yesterday during our flight, we were kicked off the property quite abruptly.
Property, man. Oh, sorry, guys.
And because of that, I have no real content today. So I thought I would go to the backlog of ideas and then talk about the 3D print setup that I use for Etsy, and talk to you a little about the 3D prints that we make, how we make them, what type of printers we use, because I often get asked what type of printers I would recommend for beginners, and I'll show you what I have. Let's get started. What's going on, guys? Ken here. You're watching Original Adobo. Today we're going to be talking about 3D printing, something I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit, but I just haven't had time. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump over here to the 3D printers that I use basically on the everyday. Okay, so when it comes to 3D printing, I use two types of 3D printers. I use this, which is a Prusa Mini, and I use these, which are Ender 3 V2s. Now, I will tell you that the Ender 3 V2s are a lot more abundant, a lot more affordable, and much more available. Only problem is with the Ender 3 V2s, it takes a little bit of time, patience, and understanding to get them printing like these print straight out of the box. Now, as far as cost difference between both of these printers, the Ender 3 V2 is going to set you back about $239 brand new. Now, how I have it configured here, I have it set up with the direct drive, and I also have like this little sensor here that does the plate leveling, which makes it a lot easier to print back to back to back. This setup here, how I have it configured, is about $400 with the direct drive and the sensor and the fixed springs here on the bottom. So that's about $400 for this printer here. This right here, this is the Prusa Mini, and this thing does absolutely amazing. It does have a smaller volume build plate, but don't let that fool you. This thing is an absolute beast. This printer here is about $440 brand new. You have to buy it directly from Prusa. There are no other retailers that offer Prusa printers, so you have to buy it directly from Prusa themselves. Now, with that being said, this printer works amazing straight out of the box. I have my filament off to the right here, and it comes fed through a Bowden tube down into the hot end. So the extruder's back here, and then the hot end's over here. It works well. If you are going to print TPU, you do have to lower your speeds down quite substantially to make it work correctly. I love using these printers for a couple of reasons. One, it prints little fine details like these little inlays really, really well. And it just does the finer details very, very nicely. So, and it's small, it's super compact. I can fit probably 10 of these things into this studio if I really wanted it to. And they just, like every print that it makes, it just looks amazing. I primarily use this only for PLA, so printing those helmets and things like that. That is where these really come into play. Down below here, this is the last remaining Ender 3 Pro that I have. So this is an older version of what these are right here. And this one I did go ahead and put a touchscreen on, which is actually pretty handy. I primarily only use this printer here to print TPU. It doesn't even have a leveler on here. And the reason why I don't have a leveling on here is the fact that I can just immediately start printing. I don't even have to do any wait for it to actually go through the calibration. So that is sort of nice that it has that. All right, so now that we've looked at the printers, what happens after I get these prints off the printers? Where does it go after that? Well, it comes over to here. And I drop whatever it is into its corresponding bin. I have every bin set up with a different purpose, and I try to keep prints ready to go so that way once somebody orders something, they can be shipped. Over here, I have some 3PV mounts that we really haven't sold a lot of these in a while, so I'm not really sure why I even print these anymore, but these are 3PV mounts, not really something that people are buying anymore. Let's see, what's this? This is The helmets, this is probably one of our best sellers. These are the FPV helmets. They work absolutely awesome if you're wanting to mount a GoPro onto your FPV drone. Slick stick mounts ready to ship. Triple tack mounts. This is probably one of the hottest sellers right now. I cannot believe how many of these have been sold to date. Here we have more slick stick mounts ready to ship. I try to keep as many as I can ready to go. Hardware for the phone holders, and if you buy a slick stick mount, a lot of times you'll get one of these in here. This has a purpose. This is not just the keychain. This is actually to help you tighten that screw down on your FPV mount. Shipping hardware. Down here we have our battery covers. We've spent a lot of time developing these battery covers, and so far they haven't really been replicated. And I think it's because people have a hard time figuring out how we get the inside of these things looking so clean. And that's all proprietary. So yeah, but that's sort of how it happens. So when an order comes through, I grab it, whether it's ready to go, and it comes from here. Now, one nice thing about my store is we ship from 2 different locations. So when it comes to shipping, you may notice that some of the addresses come from California. And it's not that I'm not shipping from Florida, I am. I have a partner in this business who lives in California. In order to do this effectively, I need to have a lot of printers. And obviously, as you can see, we don't have the most amount of space here for me to film and have printers. So I have a business partner, Ethan. He's out of California. He has 6 printers as well, and he ships from California. Now, we've devised the shipping to where I handle everything East Coast and over to Texas, about Texas, Dallas, Texas, and then he handles everything from the other side of Dallas, Texas, over to California. And what this allows us to do is to quickly get products to you when you order it. It's something that's pretty much not really done widely on Etsy, because when you think of Etsy, Etsy partners are probably in the same location, but what makes my store a little more unique is I can fulfill orders from East Coast and West Coast, meaning I cut down on the shipping times and the shipping charges that get levied to you. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of control over what Etsy charges on shipping. I just don't. They make the prices. I just try to manipulate the weights a little bit to try to get you the best possible price. Now, we started printing, 3D printing, back in March of last year. And since March of last year, we have made $42,000 net revenue. Gross profit has been $52,000. Unfortunately, the way Etsy factors their fees, their taxes, and everything, it sort of skews it, makes it very difficult for taxes. But we've made over $42,000 3D printing since last year, which I think is pretty damn good. This year, right now, we are on pace to supersede that by a tremendous amount. Since January 1st, we have done $9,980 to date 3D printing. And that's all thanks to everybody who's purchased something. We have shipped over 3,000 orders. And just this year alone, we have shipped over 600 orders, which is pretty crazy. And that is the biggest reason why I've sort of cut down on how much videos I've been producing, because the 3D printing aspect has been keeping me really busy, and it's actually really sort of serene to sit here and print and design and come up with ways to improve products. So I want to thank all of you for checking out the store, purchasing things that you need for your drone, and hopefully the designs have been thoughtful. I know I can't make everybody happy when it comes to the designs and whether or not it's going to be useful for you, but I'm trying, and that's all that I can do. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for purchasing stuff if you have, or you've supported the store. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can continue making solutions for drones in 2022. All right, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed this tour. Stay original.
checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message, homie, ain't no flexing on me. My attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you.